Good morning, friends. Welcome to Water Resources Engineering class. We are dealing with Unit 5, that is canal systems. We have completed classification of canals, silt theories, that is Kennedy's theory, followed by problems, drawbacks of Kennedy's theory, then introduction to Lacey's theory, Lacey's equations, problems, what are the defects of Lacey's theory, and what is the comparison between Kennedy's theory and Lacey's theory. So that is one part we have finished. The second part we started it with canal outlets, where we talked about what is a canal outlet, what are the characteristics of a good outlet, what are the classification of canal outlets, the non-modular outlets, modular or flexible outlets, modular or rigid outlets. That we completed. In today's class, we will go into another topic, very interesting and important topic called as the waterlogging, causes, effects, remedial measures. Simple straight question. Define waterlogging, explain, and what are the causes of waterlogging, what are the effects of waterlogging, and what are the remedial measures. So that part which we will take it. So this lecture is focused on waterlogging, causes of waterlogging, effects of waterlogging, and remedial measures. First, what is waterlogging? When a land is said to be waterlogged, and what is the problem if a land is waterlogged? That we will study. Waterlogging, basically it is a phenomena of a rising water table. This is one word. Okay, water table rises near to the ground level. What problem? If the water level rises nearer to the ground level, what happens is the entire soil below the ground level becomes saturated. That means all the pores of the soil are completely filled with water. There is no air circulation. For the plants to survive, for the crops to survive, air circulation in the root system is necessary. The moment a land becomes waterlogged, that aeration is completely cut off, because all the soil pores are filled with only water. That is the main problem. So if the water table rises closer to the root system, when the water level rises closer to the root system, what will happen? It affects the oxygen absorption by the roots. And finally, the crop productivity, crop yield drastically falls down. Any agricultural land is said to be waterlogged when its productivity or fertility is affected by high water table. Waterlogging is said to occur when the soil within the root zone of crops becomes saturated with water and the water table rises such that it affects adversely the land productivity or crop growth and soil properties. Waterlogging is a condition, same definition I am repeating. Waterlogging is a condition in which the soil becomes saturated with water, raising the water table to such an extent that it fills the entire root zone. The root zone of the crops is completely filled with water table, with water, thereby obstructing natural air circulation. That is very important, and adversely affecting the plant growth. This understood? So again, once again I will tell, what do you mean by that? Waterlogging means the water level has increased, the water table has increased, the water level in the soil has increased almost nearer to the ground level. nearer to the ground level, in the sense that where the naturally for a normal soil profile, the pore spaces are partly filled with air and partly filled with moisture. Generally, any soil structure, if you take it, what will happen, the entire basic things, if you see the soil profile from the ground, for example, this is the ground level actually. And if you take the soil profile here, naturally, here all the soils, it is soil plus water plus air. So always water plus air is there in the soil actually, right? There is some part of water, some part of basically air. So that type of environment is mainly required for any healthy plant growth. But what will happen, because when the water table rises, this entire air is being absorbed by water and the whole thing is filled with only water. So naturally, the plants cannot respire. When the plants cannot respire, they cannot grow. That's how it happens. So that is why waterlogging is a dangerous phenomena which you need to observe. So in a normal soil profile, the pore spaces are partly filled with water and partly filled with air, thus ensuring healthy supply of oxygen for root respiration. Under waterlogging conditions, the groundwater table rises abnormally, saturating the soil pores completely. The air is displaced from the soil pores, resulting lack of aeration. Lack of aeration for the plant's roots. Plant roots are unable to respire and physiological functions like nutrient absorption are hindered. So these are the three things that will happen under waterlogged conditions. So if that condition is prolonged, then what will happen? It also brings the salts to the surface through capillary action, further reducing soil fertility. Thus, waterlogging not only decreases the crop yield, but also deteriorates the soil health and making the land unsuitable for cultivation. Finally, what is the final thing is, it is when the land becomes unsuitable for cultivation. Number one is unusable for cultivation, and also soil health is deteriorated, and also crop yield is reduced. What are the causes of waterlogging? The causes of waterlogging is over irrigation of fields. That means excessive application of water to the irrigation field, especially in canal command areas. Basically, that is one of the main reasons for this over irrigation actually. Then seepage from canals, reservoirs and tanks. If suppose the land is nearby a canal, right? If any farmer's land is nearby a canal, naturally in the canal water level is always high. So automatically the water table in the field is also high. So when in such a case actually, because of the seepage that is observed from the bank and the bed, always the land of the farmer will be in the waterlogged condition. So this is one thing. Poorly lined canals. Normally, such a canals are always lined, but if suppose that lining is not proper, then in that case, water continuously percolates. Third one is inadequate drainage facilities. Suppose the excess water has entered into the field actually. So now there is no drainage facility for the field. So that means lack of surface drainage or subsurface drainage. Natural removal of excess water is not removed. Then that is one of the causes for waterlogging. Then flat topography. If suppose the land is having a little bit slopey, then naturally whatever water that falls, the excess water will leave. But if suppose it is flat, then naturally in such a cases, the water drainage problem is there, seepage is there on one side, over irrigation is there. So now the land is flat. Then naturally the entire the land becomes waterlogged. Then obstruction to natural drainage. For example, already natural drainage systems are there. So for that natural, that means on one side water enters into the field and the other side there is an exit outside. But suppose if some road is coming there, or some railway thing, or some embankment you have constructed, so naturally what will happen? There is only one vent inside, water will enter inside, but there is no outlet vent actually. So because of that, that means obstruction of natural drainage. We ourselves obstructed it. So wherever you obstruct the natural drainage means all the drains. If you obstruct the drain, naturally what will happen? The land surrounded by completely waterlogged. That means there the water level increases. That is the next thing. Then obliteration of natural drainage. Obliteration of natural drainage means some of the farmers actually knowingly or unknowingly plow up. Basically that means while plowing they completely remove the existing natural drainage, resulting in stoppage of storm water. That is one more thing. Now next thing is high water table. High continuous rise in the water table due to basically recharge from the rainfall. Now that also causes waterlogging. And last one is soil characteristics. Soil characteristics means if suppose the soil is such that it is a clay soil, for example, for a clay soil naturally drainage will not be there. Only thing is whatever water that it is only absorbs the water. So such type of soils also naturally becomes waterlogged. So what are the causes of waterlogging? If you go for over irrigation, or if your seepage is there from the canals which are nearby, or inadequate drainage facilities, flat topography, obstruction of natural drainage, obliteration of natural drainage, high water table, and soil characteristics. These are the causes for the waterlogging. What are the effects of waterlogging? The effect of waterlogging can be explained threefold. What do you mean by that threefold? The effects of waterlogging will be on the soil. The effects of waterlogging will be on the crops. The effect of waterlogging is on the environment. So these are the three things. So on the soil, if we take it, what is the effect of waterlogging on the soil? First thing is it reduces aeration in the root zone. It increases salinity and alkalinity due to capillary rise of salts. Deterioration of soil structure. First thing is waterlogging, basically deterioration of soil structure. No aeration, reduces aeration in the root zone, increases salinity and alkalinity, deterioration of soil structure. And on crops actually, what is the effect of waterlogging? The effect of waterlogging on crops is root suffocation and reduced oxygen supply, retarded growth and yield, basically reduction, crop failure in severe cases. What is the effect of waterlogging on environment? Breeding place for mosquitoes, leading to health hazards, weakening of foundation of roads, buildings and structures constructed on waterlogged lands, decreases automatically the land value because productivity is very less. What are the remedial measures? The remedial measures can be twofold. One is preventive measure, other one is curative measure. So let us talk one after the other. The preventive measures. Preventive measures means over irrigation has to be stopped. That is the first thing, because cause is over irrigation. Stop over irrigation. That means efficient irrigation practices. Second thing, cause is seepage. Avoid that seepage. Go for canal lining. Then third one, high water table. Conjunctive use of surface and groundwater. That means if the water table is rising, use the groundwater also for irrigating the crops rather than always drawing water from the canals. So that means efficient usage of surface water, that is from the canals, and groundwater reduces the chances of waterlogging. So what are the preventive measures? Number one, go for efficient irrigation practices. Go for basically what we call as lining of canals. Go for basically conjunctive use, efficient use of surface and groundwater. Then what are the curative measures? Curative measures means, okay, waterlogging is near possibility. What should be the things that which you need to do? Number one, you need to do surface drainage properly has to be arranged. Subsurface drainage has to be properly arranged. And pumping of groundwater is necessary. And next thing is planting bio drainage species. That means in the field actually, if you plant actually the trees with the deep roots like eucalyptus, so naturally they reduce the soil moisture and control the water table. So this is preventive measures, this is curative measures. And once again, remedial measures I will talk in nutshell overall together, because an excellent question it is, what are the remedial measures for waterlogging? Efficient surface drainage, under drainage by tile drains, reducing percolation from canals, restriction of irrigation, lining of water courses, removing obstruction in natural drainage, prevention of seepage from water reservoirs, depletion of groundwater storage by pumping, changing in crop patterns, adoption of, very, very important, adoption of sprinkler or drip irrigation that really helps in over irrigation of lands. So these are the 10 points, the remedial measures which you can remember. Out of these 10, we can classify them under preventive measures and curative measures. Once again, causes, effects, remedial measure. Causes, over irrigation, which we have studied. Effect is rise in water table, soil becomes saturation, loss of aeration, finally waterlogging. And the adoption of scientific irrigation methods, that means go for drip irrigation, go for sprinkler irrigation, then rotational supply, then seepage from unlined canals, reservoirs or tanks. Water accumulates in the adjoining fields, rising the water table. Lining of canals, this is one of the important things. Inadequate drainage, water stagnation, formation of marshy land. Provide surface drains, provide underground drains. Obstruction of natural drainage, that means again stagnant water basically and unhealthy conditions. Provides adequate culverts, provide uncrossed drainage works. High initial groundwater table, quick saturation of basically soil, poor aeration, conjunctive use of both surface water and groundwater. Then clay or impervious soils, that is one is also slow percolation, water stagnation. Select suitable crops in that. Flat topography, natural drainage is impeded and accumulation of water. Construction of surface drains with proper slopes. So on soil, what are the things actually? Poor aeration, alkalinity or salinity increases, deterioration of soil structure. Whereas on crops actually, number one is yield reduction, crop failure. And environment is mosquito breeding, damage to the roads or foundations, decline in the land value. What are the remedial measures? Groundwater logging resistant crops actually. Plant deep rooted trees like eucalyptus we need to grow. So this completes to me another topic, the waterlogging, causes of waterlogging, effects of waterlogging and remedial measures. Thank you so much.
Vishnu Audio Visual Center, like and share and subscribe and click bell icon.